Ever wonder what the difference is between an indie deck and a traditionally published tarot deck? Stay tuned. Welcome to Hey everyone, how are you doing? Monica Bodirsky here, artist and author of the Shadowland Tarot, Shadowland Lenormand, and a few Oracle decks. You know, some of those are indie decks and some are traditionally published. I thought I'd share, well, just a few of the differences between the two. If you're new to the channel, please take a moment to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And for those of you who are coming back, thank you so much for your support in watching and in commenting. So here we are, indie deck, traditionally published deck. What is the difference? Well, I'd like to start off, let's get right to it. Let's get right to the money. When you are an indie deck publisher, you are responsible for paying for the printing and the packaging of the cards. And that cost can vary dramatically depending on the kind of cardstock you use and how many decks you publish and the type of packaging you choose. Generally speaking, the least expensive is those little flip-top cardboard packages, but packaging can get hugely expensive when you get into two-piece boxes and magnetic closure boxes and all sorts of really intricate packaging. And, well, let's see, what else is there? The number of decks you publish. If you're publishing in smaller quantities like 200 decks, yes, that's a smaller quantity for a printer, as opposed to, say, 2,000 decks, the unit cost per deck is much higher when you print less. The more you print, the cheaper the deck is to print. But here's the catch-22. The cost of printing 2,000 decks can be quite astronomical. It can get into many, many thousands of dollars, which is fine if you have that kind of money as an initial outlay or an investment, but if you don't, it can be a little bit daunting. So, also with returns, let's see. When you're an indie publisher, you get the returns. Depending on how you distribute and market, and whether it's in a retail shop or whether it's on your site, you're getting the profit. You can have it in a retail shop and then you have to cut your cost down for markup, but if you sell it yourself, you are getting all of the profit from sales. Now with traditional publishing, that's a little bit different. First of all, when you're an indie publisher, you know you can do whatever you want, all right? If it sells, it does. I mean, that depends on your marketing and everything else, but no one is going to tell you not to make a certain deck, okay? You just go ahead and do whatever you like. There is complete artistic freedom and control. Now, with traditional publishing, you need to pitch your idea or offer a submission application or form from their website, and basically you are sharing what your idea is, what the deck is going to be, and samples of the art or writing, depending if you do one or the other. In my case, I do both. That can be a little bit unusual. Usually in traditional publishing, people have an author and an illustrator. I happen to do both though. So if you receive the go-ahead, meaning the publisher likes what you've submitted, you'll get a contract. Then you go through the contract, read the terms, sign the contract, and you get a very small return on the sale of each deck. Very small. That is called a royalty. It's pretty standard, the percentage, and it is quite low. And you're certainly not going to get wealthy unless a lot of decks sell over a long period of time. And, you know, I still wouldn't say you're going to get rich for the amount of work you do. There's a lot more work than there is in getting returns. Now, some people get advances. This is a little different than book publishing. With book publishing, there are advances, but you know the advance basically is just that, an advance. When they tally the royalties, guess what? you are working off in advance. So some people opt not to get an advance and just collect the royalty afterwards. What else does a traditional publisher do for you? Well, everything, all the moving parts. They will give you an editor to go through your work. They'll give you a graphic designer to do your card layout and package design. They also take care of distribution in major channels like Amazon or Indigo or Barnes & Noble, as well as smaller shops because they have a huge list of places that they know are interested in their product. That's their business on a very large scale. And also marketing, helping you with PR and putting the word out there that you're available for podcasts or interviews. And while you are also asked to do that, they really are very supportive. At least that has been my experience. And of course, let me qualify that this is my opinion and my experience. And there may be lots of people who are not going to do both. They are hardliners when it comes to either being an indie published person or traditionally published. And that is great. We should have a lot of difference of opinion out there. It keeps things interesting. For myself, I like both because, well, I don't think I would like the responsibility of a major tarot deck release with the kind of packaging that I wanted. There's a magnetic closure on it. It's a full color book, and books can get really expensive. And I was just really thrilled. For my smaller decks, I just love the freedom of, kicking out a deck and saying, I feel like calling it the Bat's Blood Ink. I don't have to worry if that fits in with the publisher's other decks. Do you know what I mean? Because, of course, a traditional publisher would like a unique deck. Whereas if you're ready to compete on the open market with an indie deck, you can do whatever you want again. Like I mentioned, I have had such incredible support from my own publisher. I've been really happy about that. So I will probably just continue to be one of those people who does both indie publishing and also who has a traditional publisher. Now, what I didn't mention about indie publishing, well, I did say you could hire everyone, right, to do editing or layout or package design, and that I've done a lot of that myself. You really want to enjoy doing all that, though, if you do it yourself. And remember, you want to look pretty polished, so think about hiring people if you're going to jump into the fray. We can't have too many decks out there as far as I'm concerned. So, what do you think? Do you have a particular indie deck fave or traditionally published fave? Are you thinking of trying it out yourself? Give me a comment below and ask questions if I've left something out. Have yourselves a wonderful week, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.